Welcome back to College Football Addiction. Zach Smith, Minister Sports, on with us. The Big Ten Championship tomorrow. Let's start with this, Zach. How you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Yeah. Before I go straight into diving in, you're supposed to exchange pleasantries or whatever because the audience
Right.
can hear that.
I tell you, TJ, it's great to be back on YouTube. That's what I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Hopefully back on YouTube.
Hopefully I don't get banned for this.
I'm just saying, dude, if they have AI facial recognition, you might have just lost your channel having me on.
We might be dead. What big picture, what are your thoughts before we dive into the game on aside from like the pride aspect, which I'd love to hear like Ohio State's thought on that, like maybe the Ohio State point of view. Maybe it even means more to Indiana because has the Indiana ever won a Big Ten title? Maybe I should brush up on that knowledge a little bit. But like outside of the pride issue, is the importance of this game diminished some? Because a lot of people think that unless this is a blowout one way or the other, you're looking at the top two seeds anyway. And then you're playing both opponents playing a physical team while other teams get to sit home and rest this weekend, like like Notre Dame or Oregon or some of these SEC programs. Like, I don't think we've gotten to a point, my opinion is we haven't gotten to a point where these are just totally irrelevant and people don't care. But I do think some of the importance on this game is diminished.
Oh, it definitely is. I mean, if you look at it, in what world would it be fair? Let's say Bama beats Georgia and Georgia falls out of the top four. They don't get a bye. You're going to put Oregon into the top four and give them a bye and essentially giving them a double bye, no conference championship game, no first round game. That's garbage.
Yeah.
Like everyone that makes the playoffs should either have a bye because they didn't make the conference championship or have a bye, because they played in the conference championship. So I that's the one thing that I look at. I say that's creating an unequal path. I mean, I'm fine with Oregon not playing in the Big Ten championship game because Ohio State and Indiana are going to get a bye, right? So it's the same number of games. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think that the great thing of the college football playoff 12-team expansion is games like two teams with two losses, that game matters, and it didn't used to. But the problem is these high-end games, they don't matter as much as they used to, right? Ohio State, Indiana, it's like, it'd be cool to be Big Ten champs, but ultimately probably getting a bye anyways. And with the way they seed the playoffs, the one seed might get the hardest path.
You might get screwed. Yeah, Ohio State can go win this game already. Like whoever, somebody's going to go win this game and then having to play the eventual 4-5 seed. What if that's Bama? What if Bama wins this and they vault them up? Or what? You might have a harder seed, whereas the 2 seed might get to play. Maybe Texas Tech beats BYU convincingly, and they're at 3. Like you never know. It's not like the NBA where the 1 seed is playing the 8 and that's great. You know that's the 8th best team in the league. So yeah, it's so ridiculously set up.
Just look at it as it sits today. Ohio State's the 1 seed. If they win, Bama, Oklahoma. We get the winner of Bama, Oklahoma. That's the easiest second round matchup. You're high.
That's the worst second round matchup.
What?
We should be more amped up. And in a 4-team playoff, well, maybe in a 4-team playoff, both these teams would be in anyway, but there would be a little bit of drama around it. Like we should be more amped up for number 1 versus number 2 than we really are.
Oh, there's no question.
And it's not, I just don't think, man, I think Signetti, I think Day, I think they want to win these games. Are they pulling out all the stops to win this game? Like, are you leaving something in the tank for the playoff? Like, I don't know, man. It's different than it would have been 5 years ago. And maybe I'm just complaining about something that's stupid,
but be honest, of all the championship games on Saturday, including the ACC train wreck with a 5-loss team in the championship game, aren't all the other games far more important than the 1 versus 2 matchup?
Without a doubt. Yeah. The ACC is going to determine if a team gets in the conference or a team that really doesn't deserve to go in Virginia, which they've had a nice year for their expectations. But like that's determining if the team gets a team in or not. The Big 12, BYU undeservingly has to win to get in. Like my opinion is they should be in either way, but
I agree.
Fight for another day. And then the SEC, again, for seeding, very important, right? And then Kirby trying to get the monkey off his back and all that stuff. Bama, if they lose by enough, could they be dropped out or could they vault all the way up to top 4? Like all of them are more important than the Big Ten. And it's 1 versus 2. And we don't even care.
It is the two remaining undefeateds battling it in the conference championship game to win the conference. and it is the only game that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's the only game. It's like, well, they're both in for sure. I don't know, barring some massive blowout, I think they both get buys for sure. So it's like, that's the one downfall to this 12-team playoff.
Yeah. The conference, you to add to it, 2 undefeateds, both playing for the conference championship, 1 versus 2, and it's the conference that's won the last 2 titles and is favored to win it again this year. And the game, again, it matters. The kids will care. I get that. The fans will care. It'll be fun. But it sucks that this is not what it should be. So I do think the 12-team playoff has expanded some importance of games late in November, like Miami and Pitt, and like Duke and Wake Forest mattered because Duke was trying to get into that. Like it has expanded some of that, but it has minimized some of the hype. I mean, that was my complaint when you came on the preseason. That does Texas Ohio State really matter now for Texas? Maybe it did a little bit later on in the year. Don't lose to Florida. Don't go to overtime with Kentucky. But I do think that some of the big game importance has been minimized, and this is one of them. So anyway, after I've just shit on this game for 10 minutes, let's talk about the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is certainly both teams' biggest test. Obviously, going to Outson was pretty big for Indiana, but a different animal right now in Ohio State. What is the thing that Indiana does that maybe concerns you the most? Just before we go on, I will remind you that all of our content is brought to you by Sleeper this year. We appreciate Sleeper for their support and hope that you are using their app with the code CFA for a 100% match up to $100. Make sure you check their terms and conditions because terms of use do apply. Make some money with us live on Wednesday on the Power 2 here on College Football Addiction when we pick the more or less games.
I think Fernando Mendoza is the best quarterback they've played, but I think Indiana's I don't think Indiana can take down Ohio State. I feel like I misrepresented it on my show today because I was kind of downplaying Indiana and how good they are. I still think they're a really good football team. I think they're going to be a problem in the playoffs, but I just don't see an Indiana team that can beat this Ohio State team because Fernando Mendoza is slightly overrated. When I say that, he's still one of the better quarterbacks in the country. He's a top 5, maybe top 10 quarterback. Heisman Trophy winner, miss me with that. He's not even close. He's played. He had a dramatic comeback drive against Penn State that was mostly because he had a dramatically bad 3.5 quarters. It's like I didn't know that was the benchmark to be the best player in football.
It's like creating your own Heisman moment. Like Absolutely. They were like, "Did you just see what Marcel Reed did?" I was like, "Did you watch him for the first 3 quarters?" Like you can't create your own Heisman moment by being bad.
Marcel Reed played terrible. South Carolina hung 30 in a half, and it's like, oh, did you see the second half? I'm like, yeah, because it's my co-host says all the time. There was that one game, Trevor Lawrence threw like 4 picks for the Jags in the first half, and then threw 4 touchdowns in the second half, and they were like, oh my God. I'm like, do you know why he needed to throw 4 touchdowns? Because he threw it to them 4 times in the first half.
Yeah.
But that being said, they're a very, very sound football team. They're really good defensively. I don't think they have any NFL players on defense, but they're well coached, give great effort. The scheme is very, very, very sound and good. And so it's going to be a tough defense. And honestly, who has Ohio State played defensively? I can say this about a lot of teams. And my problem is when you address things like that, this is very like carnivorous, right? Like SEC teams play SEC teams. We don't know how good they are on offense and defense. So it's like, oh yeah, their rush defense isn't good, but they face SEC rushing attacks. And we're like, well, we don't know how good that is either. Right. Until the postseason, you never know. And so this is the best defense Ohio State's played. They don't have the personnel to match Ohio State with barring just dramatic turnovers or errors. I don't see Indiana winning this football game, but Ohio State hasn't been tested by, they haven't faced a receiver like Omar Cooper Jr. Roman Hemby in this run game is solid. Penn State kind of exposed how to shut them down. They're not very athletic up front. And so if you move your front a lot, they struggled, but it's a good football team, and Mendoza has found a way to make plays here and there where you're like, oh, wow, that's a hell of a throw.
Yeah, they don't seem like they're necessarily elite at everything, but they're really good at everything, right? They're, as much as I think we can say, they don't do anything at an A+ level, they don't really do anything at a C level. right? Like that, and that's maybe that's a great compliment. I mean, it's Indiana, right? Like we're not saying that about Oregon. We're not saying that about Alabama or Georgia or, a great program. I mean, it's Indiana that you could say like, yeah, there's not a C level thing that they do. Like
No,
everything at worst is a B, and maybe
yeah,
that even might be a little
it's a testament to Kirk Cignetti, right?
Yeah.
Kirk Cignetti is proving he is a phenomenal football coach. Because they're doing, whereas you watch Alabama lose to Florida State or Georgia struggle with Florida, those teams underachieved in those games, right? That speaks to coaching. Whereas Indiana seems to overachieve every week.
Yeah.
And if you look at last year, even they played Ohio State tough. Never really we were going to win the game. Then they go in the playoffs and played a tough game against Notre Dame, I think it was, and they play above what they should, and that's a testament to Kurt Cignetti.
Where do you think? And I know it's so hard to tell because you mentioned this, but just with Ohio State not being incredibly tested this year, where are they right now? Because I think there's a perception. I think everyone assumes Ohio State's the best team right now. And, for their opponents, they have looked better than anybody else. Yeah. But I think there's this assumption that because Ohio State just flipped a switch last year, once we got to December, that they may do that again. And they might even have to, right? Like if they just play good ball, then they'll probably go win. No matter what the result of this game is, they'll probably go win 3 games in December and or 2 in January, I guess, and go win it again. But where are they right now in your mind?
I mean, it's tough because, like you said, I think last year they had some greater tests, right? They had Oregon, Penn State was good. Michigan was actually terrible last year, so it wasn't a test, but they lost, which was far more coaching than anything. But I just think they're untested, not unproven, just untested. And I look at this weekend as their first true test for this defense. I think their secondary has been lights out, but I don't know who could have exposed it to not be. So Omar Cooper Jr., I think, is one of the best receivers in the country. If he gets open and Mendoza makes plays, you could look at it and say, man, one of these SEC teams or Texas Tech or someone, they kind of showed a chink in the armor, like that they're not just complete top to bottom on defense. Because right now, I couldn't tell you what it is. Maybe their nickel Lorenzo Styles, he's gotten beat a couple times in coverage in the slot. Other than that, they've shut everything down. Everyone's run game, scrambling quarterbacks, the throw game, everything. So I need to see a potential problem on film before I could even tell you how to attack them.
Sayan's taken a big leap, and then at times, hasn't gone over the top impressive. Like, what are your thoughts on him overall in this matchup?
I mean, he's checked every box. He does everything he's asked to do. He's made some fantastic throws, NFL throws, deep balls, some with air, dropping it in a bucket, some driven. He can do everything. Now, I think he has an extreme benefit of having wide receiver 1 in this draft and wide receiver 1 in next draft, throwing to both of them. And Ohio State, bizarrely, and not bizarrely, it's working fantastically. They've become a heavy personnel set offense. I mean, they're playing 2 tight ends almost every snap, sometimes 3 tight ends, at times 4 tight ends. And so they're stylistically very different from last year. But he's done everything he's supposed to do. And he's everything that I heard that people were concerned about, even inside the building, he's developed. He's gotten better. I heard, when bullets are flying, he panics. He's young. He doesn't have maturity. He's not that tough. Man, he's made some throws with a guy bearing down and going to get smacked, and he just delivers a strike. I think he's come a long way, and I think he's playing the position better than anyone in the country right now.
Is there how much of an advantage does Ohio State have in the trenches in this?
I mean, I think significant advantage. Probably their greatest advantage is their defensive line against Indiana's offensive line. I mean, Indiana has a really good left tackle, Carter Smith, and then their guards they struggled against Penn State. We know Penn State's not a good team, but we know those are talented kids. So when they face Penn State has schematic issues, coverage busts, things that plagued them all year. But when it was one-on-one guard on D tackle, it was like, oh boy, he's going to have a long day. And so I think Ohio State has a massive advantage on the defensive side of the ball in the trenches. And on the offensive side of the ball, Indiana does some things schematically, and they're so sound that Ohio State probably is more talented up front, but there's going to be some problems. It's going to be tough to run the football on Indiana.
I'll make the people wait just a second for a prediction. Without getting my channel banned, where can people follow you and find all of
Well,
your content? Because I ask that every time somebody comes on, because I do want people to go check out more, especially previewing the game. I know you've done a lot this week, but I'm actually asking that for a reason this time.
yeah, because we got banned from YouTube. Our YouTube channel got deleted with no explanation. AI gave us 3 strikes within 4 weeks, and we still don't know why. So we moved over to Rumble. We do the Royal Rumble over there. We call it the only sports show on the planet, too raw and real for YouTube. So we're on Rumble. It's Menace to Sports. Yeah, it's important to really plug where it is now because, like, okay, Rumble, I have to remember that. And we also go live on Twitter. That's been big. A lot of people that used to watch on YouTube just go on Twitter and watch us on there.
Awesome. We'll link both of them. What's your score in this one?
I've already placed my parlay. Excuse me. Sorry. I think Ohio State wins by double digits. I really do. I think they're so supremely talented. And this team, unlike last year, has been hitting their stride all year. And I know this is going to be their first test. I think they're 4.5-point favorites. I'm alting the line to 9.5. I think they win by 10 plus. And the other thing that's screaming at me gambling wise is the team rushing total. I don't know what you can do in Florida, but in Ohio, we can't do props, but you could do team props. So their team rushing total is 120.5, a number they haven't cleared in their 4 games against top 25 rush defenses. I forget who all they were, but like Wisconsin, I know was one. They haven't cleared it once. So I think Ohio State's going to handle things in the run game, force Mendoza to throw. And he has this problem where, like, when plays take a little longer, he panics. Even if there's no pass rush, just panics and starts running around like he has to make a play. It's like, dude, just sit in the pocket, let it develop. So I think they can kind of expose Fernando Mendoza for being a good quarterback, just not an elite Heisman guy like everyone's trying to tell us. So I think Ohio State wins the game handedly.
Does Sayin win the Heisman by winning this game, or does it go to Pavia?
Oh, God, it probably should go to Pavia, but I just can't stand that kid. But again, as a guy who bet on Tennessee, it was my one leg that didn't hit last weekend. He really
now you're even more mad.
Balling every time they got in 3rd and 10. He's
ridiculous.
18-yard scramble, 16. Yeah. He's a baller. It probably should go to him. I think Julian Sayin's one drawback is the 2 games he didn't have Carnell Tate, and the game and a half he didn't have Jeremiah. He didn't put up great numbers, didn't play bad, but his numbers significantly dropped. And that's been the knock all along, right? He's got the best 2 receivers in football. Of course he has Heisman numbers.
Right. Zach, I appreciate it. Good luck this weekend. I'm sure we'll get you on in a few weeks to talk about the playoffs too, man. Take care.
Sounds good, man. You too.